Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Paddock Chat. I'm joined today by the F1 Esports driver, NICOLAS Longuet. NICOLAS, how are you doing?
Very well. Thank you very much for having me tonight.
It's no worries at all. I've been following your career for a long while now, and it goes without saying what you've achieved in multiple different racing leagues, and especially F1 Esports. Well, I'm going to keep calling F1 Esports. I know it's F1 Sim Racing, but since
Honestly, I don't even know what the name is anymore. It just keeps changing back and forth. So yeah, it's okay.
we're all in the same boat as you, but
Yeah.
yeah, we've all been missing F1 recently. Have you been up to anything much though?
Honestly, the last few months have been a bit awkward because
Mm.
we didn't really know when and if it was going to happen. But we always have to keep ourselves fresh, so we've
Yeah.
always done some league racing on the side, and I enjoyed some iRacing as well. Did
Mm.
some Daytona 24 hour. I did it with a few friends, Thomas Ronhar, Fabrizio Donoso, a few of the F1 people I did it with. So that was fun, and we actually ended up in the top split, which we didn't really expect.
Oh.
So that was like my most entertaining side thing I did in sim racing so far. Well, in the last few months,
Do you ever
apart
run
from
into
training.
any F1 drivers on iRacing?
Yeah, sometimes it can
Yeah.
happen that there's yeah, Antonelli does a few.
Mm.
I see Gabriele Mini. Obviously, he's not in F1; he's in
Yeah.
F2. Um, I saw somebody. I thought Yuki once. Yeah, sometimes they do a race or two. Yeah.
Oh, so before we delve all into your career, I've got a few icebreaker questions for you. Just
All
some
right.
F1 related questions. So first of all, Nicholas, what is your earliest memory of motorsport? It doesn't have to be F1, it can be any type of motorsport, just the earliest memory you got.
I was probably 5 or 6, and I was going around my apartment in a scooter. And I remember seeing my dad sat at the sofa watching F1, and I then sat with him to watch F1, and I didn't really know what I was seeing. And I think that's kind of what I remember um, as my first memory of watching a race or anything,
Hmm.
any sorts of motorsport. Yeah.
What year was that? I feel like you might have
Uh,
said.
must have been like 2008, 7-ish, something like that. Um, it might be earlier because he was rooting for Michael a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, honestly, yeah, back then.
I have a feeling you're gonna have a couple things for the next one, but you might want to just pick one. If you could
Right.
change one thing about the current Formula One game, what would it be?
I mean, there's so many people that are focusing on nitpicking.
Hmm.
We all know like Formula One as a different player base
Yeah.
than other sim racing games. But one thing I would change probably be not change, but add again like the old cars. Like
Oh, okay.
have
Yeah.
all the cars. Oh my god, yeah, there actually is many things. Or have every single track that we've had in F1 history. Like being able to drive old tracks. Yeah, actually, I would go with the tracks one first. I would enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine like a classic F1 Esports. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, and also
Chuck you
just
in the
driving tracks that we would never do, like the Nordschleife, for example, like even South Africa, India that they removed, Malaysia that they removed.
and you've just signed
Um,
with Williams. They'd put you in Mansell's Williams.
yeah, yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
Which other F1 esports driver? Because of course, first is yourself, but which other F1 esports driver is the most fun on a night out,
Oh God, on a night out,
or a night gaming? I know you guys like to play your Call of
and I
Duty.
would on a night out, I would say Fabrizio.
Yeah,
Obviously, because I've been teammates with him many years and I know him quite well, and he's just a goof. Like,
yeah.
yeah, he loves a good night out, so I would go with Fabrizio Tonoso.
I know he's a bit young, but I think Otis Lawrence. Feel like he'd be a bit of a
Ah,
nutcase
yeah,
on a night
we
out.
should mention him. He's not legal yet. Yeah,
So what was your first ever Formula One game?
2011 on the
Oh, what a
PlayStation
great
3.
game. What a
Yeah,
fantastic game, yeah.
actually, I have a few memories of 2006.
Mm.
where where you had to do the manual pit stop yourself. You had to
Yes,
press the
yeah.
buttons. Yeah, I remember. I thought I was so good at that for some reason because I was just spamming all the buttons.
I think it's better
uh,
than the manual pistol they have now, though.
Man, yes, that was actually really fun. I like the manual pit stops then. So yeah, 2006 then I would say.
So,
Yeah.
so let's just get straight into your career, Nicholas. So, when was it you started sim racing?
I started on the 2017 game, so around
Mm.
early 2018, where I started like driving. I got my first wheel,
Yep.
and yeah, that's when within the first 10 months or whatever, I then qualified for the pro draft. And yeah, that's when I started, and then went to Red Bull, and the rest is history.
I
Yeah.
was going to ask you about that. Obviously, you're fortunate enough in your career to drive for quite a few different teams. Obviously, Red Bull, like you mentioned. Am I right in saying Alpine at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alpine. Obviously, a big stint at Ferrari. Now Williams. In esports, what would you say is the difference between teams? Obviously, in F1, it's self-explanatory. You get different cars, but it's all the same machinery in F1 esports. So, what
Yeah.
would you say is the difference team to team?
It's just the people you're surrounded with that kind of change your attitude, your motivation, and your like I don't know, just the overall feeling you get when coming into a race day. Obviously, in Ferrari, I think that was my best ever. Like, let's call it like family. Like, we were like all very close friends, and we spent a lot of time together. So it was very natural, the way we did things, the way we talked about things, and yeah, I've jumped from many teams, and there's always a little bit of a like a few months of buffer where you're kind of learning these new people that you're working with and how they communicate and how they work. So it's going to be a learning step for me during these next few months, to be honest. Yeah, and but I think it's going to be great because every team is still motivated to win, and every team is passionate about motorsport. I mean, anyone in F1 Esports and the F1 community is passionate, so they'll want to win. It's not just being there because it's a job.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so
When you so we've all spent hours on time travel on the F1 game, whatever the case may be, but when were you I know everyone's talking to you when I say that to you. I can imagine how many you spent.
yeah, yeah.
But when did you realize more than a hobby, this was becoming more of like a I could go somewhere? Was it when you first got spotted by Red Bull, or when did you realize?
Well, the first few months I was driving like for fun,
Mm,
and I did like some like Italian like leagues, but it was like a very fun like friendly league that we did with friends.
yeah.
And I remember the first race I like finished 10th. The second race I finished third, and the third race, from the third race on, I won everything. And then I was like, okay. Then I heard about AOR back then,
Yeah.
and I saw like, oh, AOR is like supposed to be the best of the best league. So then I tried to qualify for AOR and got top split, and then in my first race I got pole. I was like, okay, um, well, actually, no, sorry, that was my first race with Red Bull. Never mind, it was the second season. The first
Yeah.
season was third split. I put that was my
Oh,
mistake. I
okay.
completely forgot. Third split, and then I won third split. There we go. I remember now. And then when I saw that, I was like, okay, like I'm actually improving a lot. And back then there was this pro draft thing that
Yeah.
we don't do anymore. Not sure why, but I mean, I guess anyway. So then I decided, okay, let's just give it a go. I'm a very competitive person, so I wanted to prove that I could be the best. So I went to practice for the pro draft and qualified, and won the whole thing there as well. And then I got picked up by Red Bull, and
Okay.
that's it. Yeah.
When was it that Red Bull spotted you? Obviously, I know you just said,
Uh,
but like,
well,
how did they let you know as well?
so there was these online qualifiers,
Mm,
and once I qualified, there's this race that the people qualified for did this race, and like a top six of each of this race kind of went to England, to London,
yep.
for this pro draft thing, where it would kind of be like a show match race. I
Yep.
don't know how to call it. Where these people would face up to each other, and the teams could like see and spot talents
Mm,
in the races. And I guess Red Bull kind of had their eye on me since kind of the beginning of this qualifying phase. And when I was there, they came to me and said, "Look, when we get our pick, because obviously there's teams before us that get to pick. When we get our pick, if you're still available, we're gonna pick you."
Okay.
And that's kind of how it worked with many people there. So teams already had a plan on who to get,
Yeah.
and I was Red Bull's first choice, so I got picked when it was their turn. And yeah,
Was that quite a surreal moment for you?
I, I didn't even. I don't think back then I quite understood what was going on as much because I was 17. I was
Okay.
still in school. I was missing school. I was just excited to be missing school in the first place and going like to meet F1 teams and stuff. So I was really excited from that. And then when I joined Red Bull, yeah, I don't know, because obviously back then it wasn't as connected to real F1 as
Yeah.
much as it is now. Like now I've throughout the years I've connected with so many people from the F1 world, like team bosses. I've met so many important people that could really change your life. So that's when you really understand the value of what we have, is these connections more than anything.
So I'm just going to use your Ferrari stint as an example because it was
Yeah.
your most recent F1 Esports season. What does a day in the life of training for an F1 Esports season look like? So from the moment you get to wherever the case may be, you go and train, whether it be at home or at the Ferrari Esports headquarters. How long are you there for training, and what does that look like?
So it's a little bit different from when I'm home to when I'm at the boot camps in Maranello when I
Mm,
was. When I'm home, obviously there's a bit more freedom because it's not as heavily focused on the training. Also, you're taking care of yourself. You have also life. It's not like you're just working 24/7. But when we do go to the boot camps, um, it's around like 2 or 3 weeks before an event. Let's say when you start like really um, putting all the focus into it. We were there 12-hour plus
oh
a
my
day,
God, every
every day,
day.
every day. We would, so the sleep schedule would get a little bit shifted as well because our races are very late at night as well. So we don't want to be tired at like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. when there's a race going on. So we would arrive at the facility at around 11 or 12. Um, Usually kind of chill out, get into our offices, have some lunch, and then start training. We would train, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours straight, have like a break, have test races afterwards, and go out for dinner for like another break, and then come back again for another 3 or 4 hour stint of like, I don't know. It would late night would be mostly just telemetry stuff, like checking where we could gain on qualifying stuff. But yeah, it was very dense and long.
What's the 12 hours consumed by doing that? Is it I'd imagine it isn't just solely time trial for 12 hours.
Time trial. We don't touch time trial actually. Time trial
Really?
is yeah, it's not something that we do because there's no fuel, there's no tire wear,
Mm.
there's no tire temps, there's no engine temps, there's nothing. So that one is just pure ego. Like when people pick up the game at the beginning, you use time trial to kind of learn the physics, learn the limits of the tire of the car, kind of. But we're so used to it to the point where during these 3 weeks of boot camps, we would jump on the rig the next day, and within the first lap, we're on the pace because we were so used to the amount of laps that we did on that track with that setup in particular. For example, we would just be on the pace straight away. And when in 2023 we had 6 tracks per event, which was mental. We would jump from track to track so we would do one qualifying in a track, jump on the next track, and then jump on the next track, and it would keep
Okay.
us like kind of fresh and try to perform without any warm up. Kind of that was our way of practicing.
Am I right in
And
saying there's a like a spec rig that all esports drivers have to use in terms of wheel, or can you all use different
yeah,
wheels? Okay, no, there is.
no, we all have like like a designated like equipment that we receive from F1 and Fanatec.
Mm.
Yeah, Fanatec, I should say. Yeah, that we all have to use. We cannot use anything else. Even socks, we're supposed to use like a certain color
Really?
of yeah, even certain color of socks. I remember
That's
one of us got
insane.
shouted at because they were wearing white socks, and we cannot wear white socks.
I think you should name them.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
So in terms of the sim rig then, um, how much difference is the one you use at home from when you go to a LAN event?
It's like identical
Is it? Okay.
to the centimeter.
Yeah.
We get, so a team gets like an allowance, plus or minus. It's not very clear. But usually most drivers have one at the facility and one at home, or some teams prefer to just keep their drivers at home. Kind of depends on preferences. And yeah, I used to have one in Ferrari, one at home. They were just identical. So when I travel, I don't bring anything. I just bring my brake pedal, which I like to use the same brake,
Yeah.
because they do feel a bit different at times. So when I go through the security check at the airport, they're like, "What the hell is this?" and they always stop my bag because there's a pedal in it and like maybe a wheel, a steering wheel sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're a bit confused. I'm like, "It's not a gun, guys."
That's so funny. That's
Yeah.
actually so funny. You don't have to give us an exact number, but a ballpark figure. How much is a current esports? Is the big difference. F1 sim rig cost.
Okay. Let's say I'm gonna take into okay. So these actually aren't available on sale. I don't think people can buy these rigs.
Really?
So I'm gonna use the playseat rigs that we used to use right before the Fanatec one,
Okay.
and that people could buy that one, and it was 2,500 just the rig. So I mean, if you want to add a PC or a console, I don't know, and a monitor, and I don't know, you're up the 3,000 plus mark. Obviously, that playseat rig was very like advanced. It was
Yeah.
very, I wouldn't say unnecessary, but like you don't need that kind of
Yeah.
equipment to be fast. Like I put my wheel on my desk, the pedals on the floor. I had a chair with wheels on it, so when I brake, it would go back. So I had to create, or my dad created this wooden plank that would stop my chair from going backwards. So you don't need crazy equipment to be fast.
I imagine there's so many people out there now that you've just given so much more motivation to.
Yeah, no.
Um, so what about in terms of like your steering wheel and your pedals? Are we still talking a grand for that both
Oh
together?
God, completely forgot about that part.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's
I think that our bundle is within the €1,000 mark. The whole thing.
yeah,
It might even be like towards 600 or 700. So it's, in terms of sim racing equipment, is relatively on the cheaper side. There's many brands that can go for thousands, just a wheel or just a pedal, like one pedal, not even both. So I mean, to get started, unless you want to like just use a Logitech or a Thrustmaster, which are good entry level like equipment, Fanatec is a very good middle ground where you can be extremely competitive, no problem.
talking big money, but definitely not as much money as it would be to get into a real F1. So
I mean, any motorsport for that matter, even a Formula
exactly,
4
exactly,
costs
yeah,
that like hundreds of thousands to
yeah,
just do a season. So
yeah.
yeah.
So if we take you back to the last F1 Esports season,
Uh,
um, how do you manage to control your nerves before a massive race or a big Q3 lap?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, you just have to, it's very easy to focus on the others,
Mm,
on what lap times they're doing and how they are achieving these lap times, because we're so focused on always trying to find like a small detail from someone else. But um I don't know, I just feel like every time I get worried about the others, I end up doing a bad lap. And every time I just, even if I accept that I'm not the fastest, which you can't be the fastest in every track, it's just not going to happen. You just have to do do what you know how to do best. And if it's P3, it's P3. If it's P10, it's P10. But it's always better than crashing or invalidating. Like, I don't know. Like, you have to have confidence in yourself because, for example, I take a track like Jeddah. Um, in 2023, so not last season, but the one before, we were pretty slow in Jeddah actually, and we didn't know that coming up to the race. And when we saw the lap times people started doing, all our confidence dropped. And in qualifying, we were both of us out in Q1. I think we were almost dead last, me and Barry, which was, I won't say unheard of, but no one would have expected us
No,
to be
I remember
last.
this race.
Yeah, and afterwards we talked about it. Like, honestly, we could do those lap times, but we just completely lost confidence after we saw everybody doing them with such ease.
Mm,
So like we talked about it. Like, we didn't nail the setup, but if we still just focused on ourselves, we could have still made Q3
mm,
and still gotten a better result out of it. And from then on, I feel like my whole mindset on qualifying has shifted to this, and I've managed to get many more Q3s, and that's the most important part in our
definitely,
championship. To be honest, if you start last, it's impossible to overtake. So
yeah. Especially this
yeah,
season.
yeah, yeah.
um, so yeah, that's really interesting though, in terms of like that you think just don't focus on yourself. Because would you say, I'm just going to use your teammate for example. Let's say Ishmael puts a pole position lap in. Would you say all the other drivers are also capable of that just under the lights in an F1 Esports event? It's not always achievable, but they are capable. Would you say everyone is capable of doing that lap time, just maybe not under the lights?
I would say most people have around a similar PB, like
Mm,
very close lap times. It's just every year you see that with the top 6 or 7 drivers, there's always the same, and you ask yourself why if everyone has the same lap time. It's just that under pressure moment that you need to not make that tiny mistake,
mm,
that they're just better at it. I would consider myself one of those people, because I just always, I very rarely have the best lap of the grid. I'm a very average qualifier now. I used to be a much better qualifier than I am now, but I am much better in the race. And yeah, I've always just now focused more on consistency rather than peak. And I think that was my main problem at the beginning, um, where I would be out in Q1 or Q2 sometimes, and then the next race I'll be in pole. So it was just not worth it. So yeah.
You mentioned Jeddah earlier. I want to take you back to that season and also um, yourself, Azerbaijan, coming back. Sorry, not Azerbaijan, Zandvoort. Coming
Oh.
after. I don't want to give you too much PTSD here.
Well,
um, I'll
yeah.
just after a bad race like that. Is it how hard would you say it is to just disengage from sim racing? And would you say it's better for you that you have a month before the next event as opposed to real F1 where the next event would be a week or maybe 2 weeks?
I don't know. In 2023, I've never felt that feeling before. Like,
Mm.
I remember during the race, I didn't say a word. I remember straight after the race, like they wanted to come and interview me and stuff. I was like so out of it. I don't know. I felt like so much rage, um, that I kind of wanted to do another race straight away to like destroy everyone in a sense. Um, so I don't know. I feel like I would want a race after a bad one to kind of come back from it, because if that's the last race you do, I don't know. It depends how you are and how strong you are mentally. It could affect you for a little bit. I mean, it definitely affected me, and the fact that it repeated itself, the same thing the year after. Um, I think that was the difference, though. Like, in the second year, I actually finished fifth from last. I did like one of my craziest drives ever. And I think that was just fueled with that amount of rage
Yeah.
times two. Um, I didn't even know how to describe it. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, how is it like that in a race where things aren't going your way? How hard is it to still be performing at the top level like you guys do?
um, I don't know. It's very hard because we're at flow state most of the race. We're so
Yeah.
locked into what's going on. We're not even thinking almost how we're driving anymore, because it's just like robotic almost,
Yeah.
and you're mostly thinking about scenarios, you're thinking about ERS, you're thinking about strategy. um,
And
so
then
if you
for
yeah,
example,
go ahead.
was it the like when you cross the checkered flag, is that when it'll hit you at once instead of it kind of
Yeah,
being
yeah,
a race?
when yeah, like when I crossed the flag, I just wanted to leave
Yeah.
for a sec. I just didn't want to see anyone. um but yeah, it is, if it's very easy to then lose focus if when something like that happens, and then your whole race is just is a bad result, even though like it should have been a bad result anyway. But instead of trying to salvage something from it, that is the main difference. I think
I
that helped me more.
Yeah, definitely. I want to bring you
Mm.
from a low moment to probably the proudest moment of your career, winning the
Yeah,
constructors championships with Ferrari. I want
yeah.
you to talk me through how that was for you and what it meant to you.
I don't know if you know the well, actually, we were like fourth or third in the constructors in the last event.
Oh,
So there
right.
was five races. We were five races to go, and there was we were fourth or something. It was not going too well, and
Oh no, I do
day
remember this.
one,
Yeah.
yeah, day one of the third event was also shambles. Like it didn't really go our way. We made up a few points, but like really wasn't enough to get us in the championship fight. And we were so pissed that day. I remember me and Barry just wanted to disappear. And then the next day, I don't know what happened overnight. We got two poles and two wins, two poles and two back to back one. Jesus, I can't even speak. 1-2s. So we scored maximum points of the whole day, which was, I don't know, I've never seen before. Even getting one time 1-2 in a season is like astronomical because of how hard it is. But to do it back to back in such a crucial moment as well, like we jumped from fourth to first, like a 40-point lead. It was just crazy. And yeah, honestly, that was the our happiest day. I think even more than the championship almost, because we knew not necessarily that we won it because it was pretty much wrapped up, but like just the way that it
Yeah.
happened and the amount of hard work that we did, because that year, I don't know if you remember all the F1 chaos that we didn't get announced, that the season got delayed and delayed.
And
And we
then you were
were,
going to race in Moldova, wasn't it? Or the Maltese.
yeah, like we were training for 10 months straight because we never knew when it was going to start. It was
Mhm.
always like up in the air. And yeah, it was such a long year. And to like finish it like that was the best feeling ever. Like, yeah, we walked away so happy with that.
How did you and the rest of the Ferrari guys celebrate that night in Stockholm?
Well, the thing is, we couldn't celebrate yet because we were like 1 or 2 points off.
Yeah.
We didn't want to jinx it, but yeah,
What about after
the
Abu
next
Dhabi?
day, yeah, the next day, I remember we just went out, had a blast in the car. We were blasting "We Are the Champions."
Oh,
I even posted a story, I think, of us singing it. Yeah, it was good fun. It was good. Yeah.
was that the proudest moment of your career?
I think the proudest moment, I don't know, to be honest. One of the highest moments, but in terms of like proudness, we did very well, I would say, yeah. But I think maybe my proudest moment was just getting to F1 Esports that quickly, like from when I started. It only took less than a year, and I was in Red Bull, and then my first race was already fighting for the win. So I think I was very proud of that.
You mentioned obviously because you were left in the dark a little bit about being training for 10 months straight in the last F1 Esports event.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how it feels for you guys, but for us, it definitely feels like that now
Yeah.
without having any F1 Esports news. So I was just going to ask you, do you know if we are going to be getting F1 Esports this year, or have you been told anything?
I cannot comment
And you know,
on the. No, I cannot comment.
that's all good.
We are not allowed to speak about these things.
Mm.
But, like I think all I can say, like F1 Esports is big and loved, and people want to watch it. So there's no reason to think that it's going to disappear. Um,
That's what we love
so
to
yeah,
hear. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, Moving away from F1 Esports, let's talk about what we all love. Let's talk about some F1. So, What do you think about the new regs, and what are your
Oh mate, I
expectations of
can't
F1?
wait.
You can't wait.
Like, because the cars actually look like F1 cars again. I don't know. It
Mm.
just gives me this 2000s vibes where they're not that much smaller, but it just looks tidier. Just it looks more of a like a racy car, not like a time attack car where it's just you can't really overtake people. I mean, obviously we don't know yet. Maybe I'm completely off base here. But what I'm excited about is it's probably is the biggest change in F1 history. I think in terms of
Yeah.
regs. So I can expect some teams doing really well in the track and then completely flopping in the next race. So maybe every race would be extremely different. That's what I'm hoping for. And just see the development work, because I'm also very interested in all the aerodynamics and the development that the teams go through. I follow quite a bit, all the upgrades that teams bring, and it's very interesting to me. So
It seems so
yeah,
ridiculous that next week they're only showing the last hour of the
yeah.
testing.
I don't know. I don't understand why. I mean,
Yeah. Like if they're gonna show an hour, they might as well show the whole session, in my opinion.
yeah, I don't know. I
But
actually have no idea why.
so yeah, I'll start wrapping it up now. This is a question we ask to every guest at the end. You can be as biased as you like, don't you worry. Uh, um, so who do you think is going to be 2026 Formula One world champion?
Well, I would love for it to be Lewis, because I've always been a Lewis guy
Yep.
since my earliest memories of F1 with my dad, 2007, when he used to cheer for him.
Yep.
Um, and he's always been my biggest motivation and like image, like that I would follow. So I would say Lewis, but realistically, it's impossible to say. But I'd be happy with if Lewis wins a race, at least in Ferrari. That would be nice for his career. Obviously, Fernando getting another championship would be very nice to see as well, because I think he still has very good pace, and I think he's still one of the best drivers on the grid. And props to him for his age, he's absolutely flying, that guy. Um,
Mhm.
Oscar has also become one of my favorite drivers as well. So I'd say one of these three. I would like for them to win a
That'd be great.
championship. Yeah, I'm not. I don't really like to cheer for Max. Nothing against him, because he's like one of the greatest talents of F1 history. No doubt, he's like unbelievable. I just find it boring when he just wins every race
Yeah.
by like 10 seconds, 20 seconds. I just want a close fight at the end of the day. I don't really mind who wins.
Yeah, it's the good thing about F1 Esports. You guys are always split by a 10. So whether it's yourself,
Yeah.
Yarno, Ron Ha,
Yeah,
you'll
I,
all
I
get
wish
there.
we had like 10-second gaps, but it would also be boring for us. I mean, what would we be doing? Like, they're fighting for an actual, like, I don't know. I wouldn't say, because F1 is like the pinnacle. Like,
Yeah.
and F1 Esports, if we're all 10 seconds apart, like it would also bore us to death practicing that much to just be 10 seconds off,
Yeah.
10 seconds separated to each other. So anyway, yeah, um,
Do you
I think
think,
it should be closer. But yeah,
yeah, do you think if F1 was a spec series, would be seeing the esports gaps? We'll call it.
what do you mean? Oh,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there would be no F1, to be honest. I mean, obviously, technically speaking, yes, everyone would be very close, but F1 is a business. It's a
oh yeah,
cinema.
no,
It's
I don't think it should be a spec series, but it would be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. It'd be interesting. For example, maybe like do like a show race where maybe they put all of the drivers in a spec car with
Mm,
their liveries or whatever. Maybe that could be a fun idea, like kind of like an ego battle of
yeah,
who's the best driver. But still, at the end of the day, it depends on your driving style. So it's hard. It's always hard to say. I mean,
yeah,
people deserve to be in F1. Some people, you can argue they don't, but it's just all about, I don't know, timing and
yeah.
luck, and just, yeah, it's just how it is.
Last question for you then is just what can we expect to see of Nicolas Longuet in 2026? Plug anything you want in terms of Twitch, where we can find your
Well,
stuff, mate.
so actually, I have a few things planned this year. I'm not sure. I can't announce them yet. They're not.
Yep.
They're not public. But I think this year is where I'm finally like I'm obviously still focused on F1 Esports. It's still my main thing, but I'm also branching out to other things, and hopefully this can be the start of something amazing. I'll also be doing some real life racing, so maybe you guys will get to see that as well. I'll be posting everything
Yeah.
that I do on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram, Twitch. It's all just my name, so it should be very easy to find. Unless there's other people with the same name as me. But yeah, I actually had someone on Instagram DM me because they had the same name as me. I was like, okay, but anyway.
And little do they know it's F1 Esports race winner, pole position
Yeah, well,
winner.
unless he checked my profile, I don't know. But but yeah, every social is just straight up my name. So
What real
pretty
life
simple.
racing are you doing? I actually didn't know either.
Well, it's not like a season
Mm.
thingy. It's I don't think I'm allowed to say yet,
Oh, okay.
but it's more of like a one-off thing,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to record everything and then share it with you guys because it looks very fun and very good
We
to drive. So
absolutely can't wait to watch it, mate. You've been
yeah,
absolutely brilliant. Everyone, that's been the fantastic Nicholas Longuet. I've been Jason. This has
thank
been
you.
Paddock Chat. All the best, guys. We'll see you next week.